Dark Forest House. Even the name sent shivers down your spine. The old mansion sat nestled in the heart of Dark Forest, a sprawling expanse of ancient trees that seemed to swallow the sunlight. Vines, thick as a man's arm, snaked across the decaying stone walls. Windows once gleaming were now vacant eyes, staring blankly into the overgrown gardens. The air hung heavy, thick with the smell of damp earth and decay. Generations of neglect had taken their toll. The once grand entrance, now choked with weeds, spoke of a time long past. A time when laughter echoed through the halls. Now only the wind dared to break the silence, whistling through the gaps in the rotting window frames. The house stood as a grim reminder of forgotten glory, a testament to the relentless march of time. Birdsong, usually a symphony of nature, was replaced by an unsettling quiet. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, watching, waiting. The only movement came from the swaying branches, their shadows twisting and contorting on the crumbling walls like phantoms dancing in the fading light. As the sun began its descent, casting long, eerie shadows across the overgrown lawn, Dark Forest House seemed to sink further into the embrace of the forest, its secrets hidden in the gathering gloom. The history of Dark Forest House was shrouded in mystery, passed down through generations of townsfolk as hushed whispers. The Dark Forest family, once prominent figures in the region, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and chilling rumors. Some whispered of a terrible fire that consumed the house, claiming the lives of the entire family. Others spoke of a darkness that had descended upon the house, driving its inhabitants to madness. Tales were told of strange lights seen flickering in the dead of night, and disembodied voices carried on the wind. The mansion, once a symbol of wealth and prosperity, had become a spectre of its former self, a haunted monument to a tragic past. The truth, lost to time, lay buried beneath layers of speculation and fear. But one thing was certain: Dark Forest House held secrets, dark and terrible secrets that refused to stay buried. And as the years passed, the legend of the house grew, fueled by the imaginations of those who dared to venture near its decaying walls.
It began, as many ill-advised adventures do, with a dare. A group of friends, young and restless, gathered around a flickering campfire, their faces illuminated by the dancing flames. They were a motley crew, drawn together by a thirst for excitement and a shared disregard for common sense.
There was Liam, the self-proclaimed leader, always eager to prove himself.
Next to him sat Emily, skeptical yet intrigued, her sharp wit masking a flicker of fear.
Rounding out the group were Ben, the quiet observer, and Chloe, known for her infectious laughter, which tonight seemed a little forced.
The night air crackled with anticipation as Liam, emboldened by the ghostly tales and fueled by a few too many beers, dared his friends to spend the night in Dark Forest House.
The challenge hung in the air, a test of courage and a one-way ticket to bragging rights. Emily, ever practical, voiced her concerns, but her words were met with playful jeers and taunts of cowardice.
Ben, ever the peacemaker, suggested a compromise. They would spend an hour in the house, just long enough to prove their bravery.
Chloe, torn between excitement and apprehension, reluctantly agreed.
And so, with a mixture of bravado and trepidation, they set off into the darkness, their laughter echoing through the silent trees, a pale imitation of confidence against the backdrop of the unknown.